Okay, we have got a 3-game slate for Sunday. We've got the Detroit Pistons going to Brooklyn to take on the Brooklyn Nets. We've got the Atlanta Hawks and the New Orleans Pelicans. And the nightcap will be the Orlando Magic and the Dallas Mavericks. Now, for being honest, are these the best games? No, they're really not. I mean, we're going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets and about how they might be, the sneaky best team in basketball. But you got the Hawks who have been struggling, the Pelicans who we can literally never get a pick right with, and then the Mavs taking on a hurt Orlando Magic team, obviously without their superstar Paolo Banchero. But we're going to make the best out of this 3-game slate. We're going to try to sweep the board. We've been doing pretty well so far in the NBA season. We've got our teams we've been picking. We've been picking the Thunder. We've been picking the Cavs. They are both undefeated. Looking for some more momentum today with the NBA. And folks, if you haven't yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. We might have college basketball coming at you on the channel tomorrow as well. I'm just saying, we might be doing some college basketball as well. So stay on the lookout for, again, daily NBA and potentially college basketball picks here on the channel as well. We'll have our UFC Magny versus Carlos Prates UFC Fight Night predictions later on the channel today. And then, of course, our college football predictions coming at you on Tuesday as well as our NFL predictions every Wednesday. All right, let's get into the first of these 3 games. We start things off here with the Detroit Pistons going to Brooklyn to take on the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are a confusing team. They just are. I didn't think the Nets were going to be what they are, but they are 3-3 after dropping their first 2 games to the Atlanta Hawks into the Orlando Magic, 2 teams we're going to talk about in just a few moments here. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks, but I guess everybody can beat the Bucks, even though it took a very great effort out of the Cleveland Cavaliers to go into Milwaukee and beat that Bucks team. But shout out to Donovan Mitchell with that game winner, sinking it and giving Cleveland the victory yesterday. An overtime loss for the Nets where they kept it really competitive but lost the Denver Nuggets. Then a win on the road over the Memphis Grizzlies, and then a win in their last game over the Chicago Bulls, something I did not expect to happen. It's just weird because the Nets are getting production all over the court. I mean, watching that Bulls game, they have so many guys that can hurt you, and it's just confusing because, again, this was supposed to be a year the Nets were going to be tanking. But Cam Thomas averages 28 points a game, Dennis Schroeder averages 22, and they just have so many other guys who can just score when needed. Cameron Johnson is averaging 15. You got Zaire Williams is averaging 11. 10 points a game from DFS Dorian Finney-Smith. You get 8 a game from Jalen Wilson. You get 10 a game from Nick Claxton. 7 a game from Noah Clowney. You get 6 from Ben Simmons. And you add that all up, and the Nets are a good team. Also, Dennis Schroeder's averaging 8 assists a game as well. Ben Simmons averages 6 assists a game as well. This team is winning games, and they're doing it, again, because of the effort of Cam Thomas. But also, Dennis Schroeder has an extended role. And Dennis Schroeder, again, is averaging 22 and 8 per night. That's winning basketball. You look at their opponents, the Detroit Pistons. This is a team, again, they're 1-5. We thought there was some hope for the Pistons when they kept competitive with the Pacers on opening night. They lost to the Cavs after that, lost to the Celtics, lost to Miami, then went on the road and beat the Philadelphia 76ers, but it feels like everybody can do that right now, and then they just lost to the New York Knicks by 30 points. The Pistons are still the Pistons. Cade Cunningham's going to get his production. He pretty much leads their team in points and assists every single night. Of course, Jalen Duren is going to collect it up on the glass as well. You've got guys like Jaden Ivey, Tobias Harris, and obviously, again, Harris and Tim Hardaway Jr. were the veteran additions that this Detroit Pistons team made. Obviously, Asar Thompson is still injured, so that's why Tim Hardaway Jr. is in the starting lineup for Detroit. But ultimately, I think the Nets are the better team. Again, watching this team so far this year, they just have games where, simply put, they can't miss shots. And they play really well at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn as well. Again, the Nets just have their games where they don't miss. And I think this is going to be one of those games. It's going to be Brooklyn to absolutely dominate Detroit. I can't believe I'm saying this, but give me the Nets in a blowout victory. I like the Nets that much better in this game. Give me Brooklyn to win this one at home. We go into our next game here. We go to New Orleans. We've got the Pelicans taking on the Atlanta Hawks. And if you've been watching, our daily NBA predictions here on the channel, I'm never picking the New Orleans Pelicans again until further notice. One win for New Orleans. That did screw me. On Friday against the Indiana Pacers. But one win does not dictate their season. I don't care. They lost me 4 in a row. I swear, this Pelicans team. We picked them to not cover against the Bulls. They did on opening night. We're like, all right, whatever. Then we picked them to cover their second game against the Portland Trail Blazers. They won it by 2. Then we're like, you know what? They're going to cover the second game. They only won this first one by 2. They lose by 22 points. Then we picked them to beat a Warriors team without Steph Curry and Andrew Wiggins. They lose by 18 points. We're like, you know what? They play again. Still no Curry, no Wiggins, no D'Anthony Melton off the bench. Give me the Pels. Lose by 15 points. So you know what? We're like, all right, Friday they come back home. Pacers in town. They just beat the Celtics. We're taking the Pacers. The Pelicans win the game. Guys, I can't pick New Orleans Pelicans basketball. This is probably bad for me to say. I'm 0-6 picking the Pelicans this season. It's the only team in the NBA that I have not gotten a single game right on yet. It's insane. I cannot pick a Pelicans game right. So that's why we're going with the Atlanta Hawks to go on the road and win. Because I'm not picking the Pelicans. Oh, no DeAndre Hunter. No Kobe Buffkin. No Bogdan Bogdanovic. It's fine. They got Trae Young. Now, Trae has his nights. Trae usually has his nights so far this season. Again, every single game, Trae Young, except for one, has led this team in points, and he's led them in assists every single night. That's just what he does for this team. Atlanta, though, has lost 4 in a row after starting the season 2-0. They beat Brooklyn, they beat Charlotte, and they lost to OKC, dropped back-to-back games to the Wizards, and they just lost to the Kings. I feel like this losing streak has to end eventually, right? And I just don't think the Pelicans are that good. I don't think they are. Okay, 1 win over Indiana. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I think the Pacers are good. Don't get me wrong. But, 1 win over Indiana doesn't really dictate this team for me. Give me the Hawks to go on the road and win this game. Again, Trae Young is producing every single night for this team. They just got to get another guy who can actively and efficiently score the basketball. Yeah, Jalen Johnson has his nights. Yeah, DeAndre Hunter has his nights. But they need a true number 2. And now, DeJounte Murray was here. But I get it. Trae and DeJounte Murray couldn't really, split reps at point guard like that. I understand that, but they really need a true number 2 to Trae Young. Because again, Trae's doing it all. He's averaging 28 and 12 so far this season. Shout out to Trae Young. Again, I love Trae Young. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the NBA, if not the most underrated player in the NBA. I think Trae Young propels his team to victory on Sunday or today. I think they go into New Orleans and they win this game. Is it because I'm somewhat biased against the Pelicans because the Pelicans have screwed me over every single game this season? Yeah. But we're hoping we don't go 0-7 to start the season on New Orleans Pelicans picks, We are taking the Atlanta Hawks to go on the road. I don't know if it's still called the Smoothie King Center, but regardless, we're taking them to go to the Smoothie King Center and beat the New Orleans Pelicans. I am not impressed with the Pels this season, and we're trusting in Trae Young. We're trusting in DeAndre Hunter. We need Jalen Johnson to have a big night. We need Onyeka to have a big night in the glass. We need Capella to have a big night in the glass. I hope it happens. Also, Dyson Daniels. Give me Atlanta to go on the road and beat the Pelicans. I just have a gut feeling on this one. That's all. I just have a gut feeling. Let's go on to our final game of the night. We've got the Dallas Mavericks hosting the Orlando Magic. I don't think this one's too competitive. Guys, the Magic are just such a different team without Paolo Banchero. They just are. Since the Banchero injury, he got hurt in the Bulls game. So I guess they are only 0-1 since the Banchero injury. And that one game was against the league-leading 7-0 Cleveland Cavaliers. The problem is now they go to Dallas. And the problem after this is, oh crap, they got to go to OKC tomorrow. The best team in basketball. It's rough. Because Jalen Suggs is picking it up. Don't get me wrong. Suggs put up 28, 8, and 7 in their last game, in their loss against the Cavs. But I think it's just rough sledding for this team. Just, again, no Paolo Banchero. Then the starting lineup's now Jalen Suggs, Anthony Black, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., Jonathan Isaac stays on the bench. That's fine. He's a really good leader for that second unit, not obviously scoring-wise, but playing defensively. Obviously, Cole Anthony is the leading, guard off the bench as well. But it's just a tough matchup for Orlando, again, compared to what the Mavs have, right? The Mavericks are still relatively healthy. The only guy out tomorrow or today is Maxi Kleber. They still got Luka, Kyrie, Clay, PJ Washington, Daniel Gadford. And when you look at the Mavericks this season, they are 3-2. They started the season beating the Spurs and losing to the Suns, but running back-to-back games against the Jazz and the Timberwolves. And they just did lose the Houston Rockets, who the Rockets have been a team that have really surprised a lot of people this season, myself included. I did not think Houston had it in them. Obviously, again, we picked them successfully to not cover yesterday against the Golden State Warriors. That game was a blowout until Houston made it close in the fourth quarter. It was really weird, but then the Warriors pulled away in overtime. So, hey, I'll take it. We took the Warriors. But give me Orlando to get blown out on the road, unfortunately. I just think the Mavericks overpower them. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Luka's going to put up his good 35. Kyrie's going to put up 30 as well. And I just don't think the Magic keep up. Obviously, again, Orlando's known for their defense. That's how they beat teams. They stop teams defensively and they win these low-scoring games. It's going to be really tough for them to win a low-scoring game against the Dallas Mavericks. And again, you worry about the Magic's offensive production, again, without their star in Banchero. I think they're going to struggle in this game against the Mavericks. The Mavericks just outpower this team. They're the better team. Plus, the game is in Dallas, and on top of that as well, no Banchero. again, the Magic are they're gonna hang around, they're gonna float around again the top 8 in the Eastern Conference without Banchero, but they're not going to be treated as real threats until Banchero comes back from injury, which is unfortunate, but that's just kind of the way it swings for the Orlando Magic currently. In this one, give me the Dallas Mavericks to win this game at home, and I do think they will cover the spread, which is currently 7.5. I think they cover that, not easily, but I think they win this game by double figures, so give me the Mavericks to win, and I'm taking them to cover as well. So we are taking the Mavericks, we're taking the Atlanta Hawks, and we're taking, I guess, the best team in basketball some nights, the Brooklyn Nets, to all win on Sunday. And we'll be back tomorrow, folks, for a full, 15-game slate in the NBA tomorrow. Every single team plays on Monday, and then nobody plays on Tuesday. I don't understand it. If you want to see college basketball predictions, let me know in the comment section down below, and leave a like for, again, the college basketball predictions coming out the channel tomorrow. Folks, thank you all for watching. Make sure that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you all for watching, and Mamba forever.